We are here at Decoy Farm together with John Maytt. Hello, John.
Hello, welcome.
Yes, thank you very much for having us. Yes, can you tell us something about the farms?
Okay, well, we've been growing fruit on this farm for about 30 years now.
30 years already.
Although I'm a fourth generation fruit grower on this site, and this new business, it's 30 years old. Yeah.
All right. And you have also, because we are here on Decoy Farm, you have also Mockbacker farms. What is?
Yes. So that farm's grown fruit for many years.
Okay.
All the generations have grown fruit there, but we've changed this farm more recently. So we grow soft fruit, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and we grow stone fruit, cherries, plums, apricots.
All right.
Yeah.
A lot of fruit.
Yeah.
What is? You have one main crop. What you grow?
It's quite a big mix, but we've grown more stone fruit now than soft fruit.
Okay.
So plums followed by cherries are our biggest crops.
Okay. And why you changed to plums and cherries? Is there a special reason, or?
We saw marketing opportunities.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
That's probably why. Yeah.
And all your fruit is consumed in the UK, or?
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much
Everything. Okay. Occasionally we have a picture sent to us from Marks and Spencer's in Hong Kong or something like that.
In Hong Kong?
But that's not us exporting, that's the
It's not
companies we supply.
It's not common to export?
No.
Okay. Where you see, because you changed more to plums and cherries, do you see what is the trend in cherries and plums? Well, because before this video we talked a little bit about the market circumstances, and we see it worldwide, at least in Europe and the UK, that yes, the weather and the climate change. What do you see in trends? Because we spoke about cover systems already a little bit, so what's your opinion about it?
Yeah, on cherries, to supply top quality cherries, you can't really grow cherries now without a covering system of some sort. That's for sure. And we find it useful in the spring, because even with just the net up, we're improving the conditions for pollination a bit. Yeah. And that can make all the difference between having a set or not. Yeah. So with the cold springs we've had lately during flowering, the nets reduce the wind speed and just raise the temperature a little bit, just enough to make a difference.
Yeah. So a little bit the how do you say the rough sides of the weather you
try. It's hard to fight the weather, but you can a little bit.
Yes.
You can make some difference. Yes.
Yes. Because you have here a system with hail net on top and foliar under the net. Why you choose for this system?
Well, initially we lived next to a bird reserve, which is a crazy place to grow fruit. But we were finding that even in bud break, we were getting damage from birds, and so we need a net to keep birds off from bud break onwards, not just for the fruit. No. But also we found that there's a difference, I was saying just now, between where we have net and where we don't have net in the fruit set. Yeah. And it was very dramatic this year in a young orchard that we decided not to cover until next year. And the fruit set 30 meters away where we did have covers was fine. You know, it was almost a full crop, even in poor weather. And outside, it was a very poor crop. Same varieties, just 30 meters apart. The only difference was the age of the tree and net or no net. So in certain conditions, it can make a difference. I'm not saying that happens every year, because if you have good pollinating conditions, it's not needed. No. But
just in the years where
in the poor years, it definitely helps with fruit set. Yeah. Okay. We found.
Okay, really nice to know. The other thing is you have foliar under the net. What is the biggest advantage for you to have that under the net? You worked with this to open some rows or close it earlier or later, or?
Yeah, so it means that for our mid-season and late varieties, we're not advancing the crop.
Yeah.
Because they're not inside a plastic tunnel or something which will advance. We find that it's a more natural season because the conditions under the net are very different to under polythene. The ripening is a little bit slower. You don't get such extremes of temperature like you do with polytunnels. So it's a much kinder environment to the tree. So that's the advantage of just having the net on. And then we bring the rain covers over once there's a risk of fruit split from the rain. And so we've got the best of both worlds. We've got a nice growing environment, and then we've got the protection. And it's very quick, much quicker than putting polythene on the tunnel to open the covers. So we just put those on as late as possible to protect the fruit from the rain, and that means we've got good light all through the season. And then we take them off as soon as possible afterwards. We've got good light, and we've got the protection we need.
And what I thought about when you say this, the foliage is only a short period that you use the foliage, so it's also good for the lifetime of your foliage.
That's right. Yes. It's only on for a few weeks. Whereas the net's on for months.
Okay. You told us before that the farm is 30 years old.
Here, yes.
Yeah, here, this farm. And when FruitSecurity came in?
That would be about, time flies, but it's probably halfway through, roughly.
I think so,
It was about 15 years ago, something like that.
We started with the first orchards.
Yeah, we had the first cherry covers, the first field we covered. Yeah, and then we've just done more and more of this system. We've tried cheaper versions, but they don't end up being cheaper.
No.
Because this is a really good, well-designed system that, if put up properly, requires minimal maintenance. And that's the advantage of your systems over the others we've tried.
Yes, one of the big issues in our business is to get workforce. Is this also a topic for your farms?
Yes, although we had a couple of difficult years after Brexit, and then with the Ukraine-Russia war, that's where a lot of our staff was supposed to be coming from. So, but this year, with better planning and our seasonal workforce is fine. For the first time for several years. It's not been an issue.
So you have a big hiccup with Brexit and Ukraine
initially war? with getting the visa system working. It all took too long to run smoothly. But now it's working fairly well. But it's there's just enough people, but only just now.
And that makes it really important to have a good planning and also to work with your cover. So
it needs to be as efficient, but both the husbandry jobs and the picking needs to be as efficient as possible. And so we try and keep the trees fairly open for good picker access, but that's where the covers also help, because we're not sorting out fruit that has been damaged by the weather, or because it's in a hot, muggy environment, perhaps in a tunnel, there's much more brown rot. And the cost of sorting through this fruit is huge now. So in a better environment, which these covers give, you can leave the fruit on to the last minute and still not have still have maximum fruit size and maximum eating quality without the risk of the fruit deteriorating in quality.
And also you save on labor cost that you don't have to sort out the...
Exactly. So much cheaper picking.
Okay, when we look forward to the future, what do you think about cherry growing and then especially in the UK, of course. What's needed? What is needed for farmers to grow cherries? We know all about the money what we have to get from customers, end customers, supermarkets.
I mean, to make growing any horticultural crop now, you need better returns, and it's the same for cherries. You know, it's not cheap establishing cherries. You've got the tree cost, the cover cost, the labour cost of training and pruning and picking. It's so high now. You need decent returns, and to give you any chance of getting a good crop, you've got to have a covering system to help with that. But to pay for it all, you need fair returns from the supermarkets.
So there is an issue for the future for all the farmers.
There is, yes, there is. It's a concern for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
To look to the future, do you think for crop protection we need changes there?
Yes. Well, we seem to lose materials faster than we gain them.
Yes.
And we're having to be very careful to apply things at the optimum time, because it's such it's becoming a limited armoury.
Yes.
We're just about okay, but if we lose too many more, it's going to get very difficult.
Because you choose in this farm also to around your parcels with cherries to cover it up with insect netting.
Yes.
You think that is?
Yes. I mean, the SWD netting is a little bit more expensive, but it definitely makes a difference. It's not the whole solution, but it's part of a number of things we have to do now to reduce SWD numbers, and that's the advantage of this, being able to put it all the way around the outside. It definitely helps. Yeah.
Okay, you're working also here with humblebees and so on. You have experience under the cover with humblebees or bees, or
we bring bumblebee hives in because we're covering with the net prior to blossom.
Okay.
And before flowering, therefore, to make sure there's enough pollination, we bring bees in, and then if we want to close the perimeter, the outside, we can, although we usually leave the ends open for tractor access and also natural pollination. So we get a combination of natural pollination and bumblebees in the covers, because these are quite long rows. You know, they're 200-metre rows. So you need good movement of bees and natural pollinators that we have here, and then we usually close the ends after pollination, and once the risk of SWD starts to increase closer to fruit picking. So prior to that, we'll close the SWD nets on the ends.
So every year it's a mix of options what you have to go through, and depends on the weather, on the pollination situation, everything you can mix with all the options you have.
Yes, and a system like this gives you more options. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
It's really nice to be here with you, and thanks for your time.
Our pleasure.